Traveling overseas, you're going to love this adapter and power charger. Let's check it out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm checking out this. This is a prototype of the Zender Passport 3, and it's really cool. It is an international power adapter, but it's also a charger, and it has a lot going on. So on this side, there's a 61 watt USB-C plug, and then on this side, there are 3 more USB-C plugs and a USB-A, the rectangular one. And then you look at the front and you're like, what the heck's that? Turns out this is a cutout pattern that will let you plug in a UK or European or American power plug and have this be the right adapter for it. And then you're like, all right, well then how do you get the plug on the other end? And that they've got figured out with these sliders. So if I slide the first one, there we go. I have a US power plug. This is what's known as a Type A. I can pull that in, push out the next one, and that's the UK. That's what's known as a Type G plug, and it is just that sort of distinctive triangular shape. And then finally, the third slider gives you this, and this is the most common power plug in the world. This is a Type C. So with any of these, you can use this to plug into the wall, and then you can plug something into here. So right there, it's super helpful. And you can then plug in your computer for the powerful charge on the side, and then the smaller charges in the front for things like phones and earpods and such. And I thought, let's see how we can figure out and test this. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to plug this in. Just happen to have power here, so it's now plugged in. And I'm going to use a sort of old school little power adapter, and that's plugged in via USB-C to my Google Pixel 6 Pro. So I'm going to plug it in on the front, and now it is charging. And it says on the bottom, 55% charging. So what's important to notice is it doesn't say anything like charging slowly. So there's nothing weird about this. This is just given full power coming out the top. Then while we're at it, what else can we plug in? Well, let's plug in my iPods and let them charge. And in the USB-A plug, I'm going to go ahead and plug in my headphones, if I can get that to the correct orientation. So now I'm charging my headphones, I'm charging these, and I have one extra USB-C. It's a very short one, but let's see if we can maneuver things around so I can also charge my all-in-one Dell laptop. Here we go. So if I plug that in here, then the light comes on, and this is also charging. So all of this is charging all at the same time through this power adapter, even though I'm also using it just as a transformer so I can actually use a US plug. Now, for those of you that travel overseas and use these adapters, you know there are some issues here. The biggest issue is heat. So what Zendure has done here is they have a 10 amp auto reset fuse. So if this thing generates heat, and right now there's no heat at all, but if it gets above 120 degrees, it'll turn off. Everything will power down, and then once it cools down to below 80 degrees, it'll turn back on. So you don't have to travel with extra fuses, and you also don't have to worry about it bursting into flames, which are what old school adapters do, and that's pretty scary. So, like I said, using it in this configuration is not giving me full power to this. If I unplug these, then this single plug on the side is now delivering 61 watts of power, which is pretty nice. And then these are 15 watts. Also, again, once I plug something in here, then it splits that power. So then this drops down to 45 watts, which will still charge a lot of devices, but more slowly, which you would expect. What else can I tell you about this? The plug can deliver up to 10 amps. So if you're going to travel and you're going to use this and you're bringing your big American hairdryer, double check how much amperage it needs to work, because it might not work. 10 amps is a lot, but there are personal appliances that actually require 15 amps or higher. That's a lot of demand on a power circuit, so they're not really that great for your electrical system. Be that as it may, double check to make sure that 10 amps is sufficient here. And as I said, this actually supports different kind of plugs, so I could do the opposite. I could come from Japan and I can use a Japanese hairdryer by plugging it into this and then plugging this into a US power outlet. Or if you don't want Japanese, maybe you want an English one, or you want one from France, or you want one from South Africa, whatever. The advantage of this is it supports up to 200 different countries worth of power plugs. That is a lot. And I love the colors. They have 3 colors in their prototypes. This is obviously the cool purple. I'll let you explore the other ones. And I want to emphasize, this is a prototype. So I believe that the final product will have a translucent sides like this one does, but they might make it a full metal finish all the way around. I don't know. Either way, this is just a phenomenally cool color. I really like their colors. And size-wise, it is, and since we're doing international, I'm going to give you international sizes. 51 millimeters by 78 millimeters by 53 millimeters. And it's not the lightest thing in the world, but it's also not very heavy. And if you're traveling and packing to go overseas, whatever direction that overseas may look like, then adding this to your bag just means that you have a massively more flexibility, which is pretty important when you want to power up your phone or your earbuds or your headphones or your computer, or who knows what the heck, your shaver, your foot massager. I don't know what you travel with. I don't tend to travel with things that big, but be that as it may, this is the Zender Passport 3. And I'm going to give you some information on pricing and where you can sign up to learn more about it. But before I do that, I'm going to ask if you could subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. It's just youtube.com/AskDaveTaylor. Easy enough, a click or a tap, and we're connected. Really appreciate that. Cool. Now this is a prototype of the Zender Passport 3. And the company tells me that their early bird pricing, they're going to do this through Kickstarter, is going to be around $35, which makes me think that maybe the final production price will be $49.99 or something right around there. Whatever, either price, this is a solid option to have for any traveler or road warrior. Just a great tool to have. Sign up to learn more about when Kickstarter launches. Get your chance to pick up one of these super early if you have any colleagues or your boss travels a lot. What a fantastic gift. Check it out at Passport3 at zender.com. That's passport3.zender.com. Operators are not standing by, but the website is ready to go. So check it out. I'm going to plug things back in. I got a lot of stuff to charge, which means I'll have to catch you in my next video.